You ever have one of those brilliant ideas, but when you try to explain it, you're just met with blank stares? It happens, right? Well, today we're diving into the tool that can change all that. Prototyping. We're going to see how a simple model can be the secret to building exactly what your users need without all the confusion. You know that meeting, we've all been there. You're trying to describe a new feature for an app, maybe a website layout, but the words just aren't cutting it. What if you could just skip all the hand waving and actually show them what you're talking about? That right there is the magic of prototyping. So what is a prototype, really? Think of it as a sneak peek. It's a rough draft of a product that shows people how it's supposed to look and work. And I absolutely love this idea of it being a visual bridge. It literally connects that little spark of an idea in your head to something tangible that people can see, touch, and finally, understand. And that brings us to the power of a preview. Because this isn't just some cool trick. It's a huge shift in how we manage projects and build better stuff from day one. The real game changer here is making ideas tangible. Instead of handing someone a 50-page document and saying, read this, you let them actually click around and interact with the concept. It doesn't matter if it's the CEO or your very first customer, this hands-on experience gets everybody on the same page, and fast. Okay, but here's the thing. Not all prototypes are created equal. The kind of preview you build really depends on where you are in your project. So let's break down the different types you can choose from. We're basically looking at 4 main flavors of prototyping: low fidelity, high fidelity, throwaway, and evolutionary. And trust me, each one has its own special purpose. First up, low fidelity. Think simple, fast, and honestly, kind of ugly. We're talking about sketches on a piece of paper or those super basic digital wireframes with just gray boxes and lines. The goal here isn't to make it pretty. It's all about getting ideas out of your head quickly so you can start the conversation. This is perfect for brainstorming when you want to explore a ton of different directions without getting bogged down. Now, on the complete other end of the spectrum, you've got high fidelity. These prototypes look and feel like the real deal. They're polished, they're interactive, you can click through them. You build these when you've already figured out the basic structure and you need to test how users actually interact with the product, long before your engineers write a single line of production code. We can also look at prototypes based on how long they're meant to live. On one side, you have throwaway prototypes. You build these to quickly test one specific thing, like a new checkout process, and then once you've got your answer, you literally just toss it. But on the other side, an evolutionary prototype is built to last. It starts simple, and then it gets refined and built upon, layer by layer, until it actually becomes the final product. It's the foundation, not just a test drive. Okay, so why bother with all this? What are the actual tangible benefits of spending time building these previews? Let's get into the big payoffs, because they are huge. All right, the first big win, it's all about communication. A prototype is basically a universal translator. All of a sudden, the developers, the marketers, and the executives are speaking the same language because they're all looking at the exact same thing. It just cuts right through the jargon and aligns everyone around one shared vision. It's amazing. Next up, you get to dodge some major bullets. As soon as you start clicking around a prototype, you almost immediately find what's missing. Wait, how do I get back to the home screen? Or, shouldn't there be a search bar here? Finding those gaps on a simple model is a cheap fix. Finding them after the whole thing's been built? Oof, that's a painful and very expensive mistake. Prototyping also completely changes the way you build things. Instead of this old-school, rigid line from A to B to C, it creates a flexible, continuous loop. You build a little, you test it, you get feedback, you refine it, and then you do it all over again. This cycle makes sure the product is constantly getting better and closer to what people actually want. And finally, and this might be the most important one, it brings the most critical person into the room right at the beginning, the user. Putting a prototype in their hands gives you feedback that is pure gold. It ensures you're building something people actually want and know how to use. That early involvement is the real secret sauce for creating a product people will love. Okay, so you're on board. You see the value. But how do you actually do it right? This next part is for all the business analysts, the project managers, the builders out there. Let's look at some best practices for prototyping like a pro. We've got 6 key practices here. 1. Define your objectives. Before you even draw a box, know exactly what you're trying to learn. 2. Involve stakeholders from the very beginning to get their buy-in. 3. Choose the right type. Don't build a high-fidelity model when a paper sketch will do. 4, and this is so important, iterate on feedback. A prototype is a conversation starter, so listen. 5, document your insights so you remember why you made certain decisions. And finally, number 6, organize workshops. Get people in a room to actually play with the prototype together. The ideas that come out of those sessions are incredible. Theory is great, but let's see how this all works in the real world. Let me tell you the story of a startup called QuickFoods. So QuickFoods had this cool idea for a food delivery app, but instead of just hiring a bunch of developers, they started smart. As you can see, they began with super simple paper sketches of the main screens. They put those sketches in front of real people and got this immediate, powerful feedback. And that feedback directly led to their next step, a high-fidelity interactive mock-up in Figma. It's just a perfect example of that journey from a fuzzy idea to a concept that's been validated by actual users. And this quote, this is exactly why you do it. This one sentence is worth more than 100 pages of market research. It's specific, it's actionable, and it came straight from a potential customer. They didn't just get a, yeah, looks good. They got a clear roadmap for what features to prioritize next. That's invaluable. So let's wrap this up with the key takeaways. Remember, prototyping is that visual bridge that turns a thought into a thing people can actually see. Always match the type to your stage. Lo-fi for big, early ideas, hi-fi for the nitty-gritty details. And what are the biggest wins? You get way better communication and you dramatically reduce your risk. At the end of the day, it's all about having a process to turn that raw feedback into amazing features. So I'll leave you with this question. What's that one big idea you've been kicking around? Maybe the next step isn't to write another proposal or schedule another meeting. Maybe the next step is just to grab a pen and paper. What could you bring to life right now if you decided to show it instead of just telling it?